Hello everybody and welcome back to Starbirds, where this time I remembered to save the game. That tends to help. So here we are in our frosty new system, and let's get this dialogue done, shall we? Purr, it's frosty here. Well observed, Herb. We need to insulate our corridors before we venture out into this system. You must be telepathic, Stella. That is exactly what I was going to suggest. Great minds think alike. Let's do it. Okay, so we have this quest, and we need to get our station level increased. Okay, so presumably we're going to need to build modules for that? That doesn't open the wiki, so that's exciting. Presumably we'll need to do that. So for now, let's just hop over to Fokia here, and let's start shipping some things back to the station. So that'll be okay, and we can just drop in somewhere like here. That'll be fine. That gives us a module quest. Okay, so that's for Silicon to build the engine room. So that's absolutely fine. We'll put in an extractor here and an extractor here. Okay, so that's okay. And now the question is this resource here. Let's actually just start harvesting. We can't? Needs to be placed on a resource deposit. Yeah. So apparently this is not how you harvest this resource. Intriguing. Well, our engine room is done. And that, of course, gives us a supply quest. So we can choose to take either of these. I'm going to take the tech points for right now. And we're going to need to get another module upgrade done. We can go for the uranium. What's back over this way? Yeah, go away for now. Can we... there we go. So, as of right now, one thing I want to check is methane. Okay, so this is a gas. That explains a lot. This is an ice extractor, not researchable. So, we're going to need to head over to here then, or survey one of these asteroids. But we can just grab the iron from here. And is this also a gas? This is Pura. No, this is Pura here. This is sulfur? Okay, so that's extracted that way. The normal method. So we'll put in 2 extractors here, like this. And then I also want to grab 2 extractors up on this iron. There we go. Something like that. Then we can grab our module quest, and that would allow us to get either the lab or the corridors. We'll just grab the lab for right now. Perfect. And we can grab this quest here. Wonderful. There we go. So we've got ourselves that coming in. That should get us leveled up. Just need to wait on this delivery here. There we go. Excellent. So we do have more module quests that we can do. We're actually delivering this aluminum, so we might as well take this. And let's complete this. That's a lot better already. Next mission, look for Strangulates. After all, that's what we came here for. I'm still not entirely sure how I should pronounce that. Is this a word, or did they make this up? I kind of want to check. Hang on. The game mutes itself when I tab out, unfortunately. But, let's see if this is a word. It is. It's a hypothetical particle of strange matter. How do we pronounce it? Let's see. According to AI, which is a bit sus, it is apparently pronounced stranglet. Okay. With the first, well, strangelet. Actually, it's unclear. The first syllable like strange, and the second syllable like let. So, strangelet. Okay. Gotcha. There's a pronunciation guide here. Let's see what we've got.
Strangelet.
Okay, well, there we go. Strangelet. Good to know. Good to know. After all, that's what we came here for. Indeed. Well, we got this done, and we've got this quest from the captain, so we need to find a strangelet. Okay. So our corridors are done, and we could upgrade these further if we wanted to, but we don't really have a reason to do that right now. So for the moment, I'm just going to do this, and we need to find ourselves another strangelet. Presumably it is somewhere within one of these asteroids in range, or we'll have to move the station, which is a mechanic that we haven't learned yet. So let's go ahead and discover this and see what's on here. Okay. We might have to actually build on all of these asteroids for it to populate, though, because we don't usually know what's on the locations, or rather, the exact positions of those. Oh, hang on. I think I see it there. Yeah. Okay, so we want to be here then. Well, pluck me and call me a roast. Is that what I think it is? Finally, we're getting to the good stuff. I'll bet my birdseed that there's some alien relics inside. Oh, or an actual alien. Easy, we gotta get inside this thing first, and it's frozen up real good. Okay, so presumably we're going to need an excavation hub. There we go. So we'll get that in there, and Ruth wants us to deliver water to the excavation hub. All right, let's defrost this popsicle, but first I need water for the excavator's engine cooling system. There ain't much water here, at least not liquid. So what's with these icy patches on some of the nearby asteroids? Well spotted. At these temperatures, fluids and gases like water and methane freeze solid. Stella, let's research those ice extractors you designed. They could solve our problem. Indeed they could. Okay, so we have these module quests that we don't care about at this time. There's that victory there, that's delivering the water, but for now, we need to research the ice extractor, which we already have the materials for, so that looks like that'll be absolutely fine. We just need to get those delivered. I'll just change this priority a little bit. There we go. Cool. So that looks good for now. We're going to need to pipe this water in, presumably. So we're going to need to get ourselves a landing pad here and connect the landing pad in like this. Okay, here's the ice extractor. Good to have those ice extractors handy now for our water supply. I was getting worried about my greenhouse hatchlings. It's quite easy. Once placed on an icy patch, they begin isolating and extracting the constituent components. Okay, so at this point, we need to get ourselves some ice. Like here. Excellent. So we'll enter this, and we need a launch pad somewhere. There we go. This is not ice here. This is ice out over here. That's awkwardly placed. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get ourselves a launch pad down over here, and I'm going to destroy this launch pad. There we go. Cool. So now we can get an ice extractor on here, and I'm going to do 4 of these. And we don't quite have enough credits, but now we do. Excellent. And we're starting to run kind of low on both credits and tech points. I'll grab tech points for now. So this water is going to be going back to the station for right now, but we want this to be delivered to here. So let's just move this right on over to there. Did that actually work? I don't think it did. There we go. That worked. So we're going to send our shipment of water over to here. We need to get 6 water to the excavation hub. Well, that's 2. That's 4. 5 and 6. Okay, I'm going to pull this back to the station for now. Excellent. I've got a theory on how to crack this one open, but I need to run tests. Can you give me some plastic so I can build a prototype? Okay, so we need to deliver plastic there. Sure. But how do we make plastic? In the refiner, we need hydrocarbon, and that forms into plastic. Okay. How do we get hydrocarbon? Water plus carbon. Okay. Just checking around here. How do we get carbon? Methane plus oxygen. Okay. So we need to get some methane here. That's understood. And this needs to be delivered to the excavation hub. Okay, so this is going to be an ice extractor. This is methane here. We'll put in 2 of these ice extractors here for now. And we're going to need a launch pad here. So of course we're going to need to get ourselves a credit supply quest. And in the meantime, I would like to get... There's no treasures here? Wild. Okay, apparently there's no treasures on this asteroid for us to collect, so that's neat. I guess we'll just have to wait this out. That's fine. It's not the biggest of deals. So we'll have this shortly, theoretically. But we're going to need to figure out where we want to have another launcher, and I'm thinking down over here for right now. I'd love to deploy the rover and be collecting stuff, but I just don't see anything on this world to collect right now. So that's fine, I guess. But we do need to put in a launch pad right over here. So that means we need 100 credits. We do have a trickle of credits that we get from delivering resources to the station, but this is where we're going to get the majority of our credits from. So let's get that done, and we could do another supply quest here, actually, which I'm going to do immediately. There we go, and now we can get our launch pad in here, and then this is just going to pipe down to here, like... Oh, that's very awkward. Get out of the way. There we go. Pipe down like that. So that's now being delivered, and ultimately, we're going to want to probably have 4 of these for the moment. Like that. Okay, so that's now being delivered, and we're going to want to get the methane out over to this asteroid. But first, we're going to need to have some of this water be turned into oxygen. So to that end, I'm going to have an ice extractor here. And this is going to go into a refiner. So for that, we'll need a little bit more credits, which we'll have very shortly. We can also grab this guy, which I definitely want to do. We can also grab both of these, so that'll be fine. We can do these multiple at a time. So put a refiner in here. That is going to get us oxygen. Okay, so that gets us some way through here. So hydrocarbon is water plus carbon, and carbon is methane and oxygen. So now what we need is we need a landing pad here. That landing pad then needs to go into a chemical lab. Okay, we can go ahead and grab some of these treasures here because apparently this world does have them. Cool. So that'll give us something to do while waiting for some of these resources to come in. Cool. So that's 115. We, of course, need 200 for a chemical lab. It's actually kind of faster to just teleport this thing around like this, I feel like, but it's not as thematic, for sure. Okay, so we've got our oxygen here. Now we need to bring in methane and put that into a chemical lab. So we're going to get both of these going. This is fine. This is also fine. Okay, so the chemical lab needs to be re-researched. Interesting. No, that's the component lab. Hang on. That's not the chemical lab at all. This is the chemical lab. So the chemical lab is going to be like this, and then that's going to pipe in like so, and then we're going to bring in the methane like that. So the methane needs to come in to this site here. So that's this, and it needs to connect like that. So now we are producing carbon, but we're not delivering that carbon anywhere. And where does that carbon need to go? Well, it needs to be combined with water in a chemical lab to form hydrocarbons. So let's hop in here. We have a source of water here. And we're going to need to get another ice extractor here. We're going to need another chemical lab like so. We pipe in the carbon here into this chemical lab, and then we pipe the water into this chemical lab, and that produces hydrocarbons. So now that we have that, we need to pump that into a refiner. Like so. This is a very complex production chain, no doubt about it. But we pipe that into a refiner. That's now outputting plastics. So this is going to be an awkward pipe, but we can run this pipe all the way around over like this. This needs to be delivered, however, to the mining hub. This is going to the station, and I want to keep it that way. So for now, we're going to need to pipe this to a different launch pad, ideally. So that's going to be to a launch pad out over here. It's a very long connection, but there we go. So that's now there, and we need to have this, which I think is this guy. I'm not 100% certain what this this production here is, but I'm pretty sure it's this. Needs to get piped over to here. Yes, that's plastics, and that is now going into our excavation hub. Okay, so that should be done. We can do another supply quest here. We may as well. I'll grab some tech points while we're at it. And that seems good. We can do more modules here, and we may as well grab the bird bath, I guess. We're delivering water, so it seems good. And we can see that we've delivered 4 of our 6 plastics. Excellent. Okay, so there's our bird bath done. Fantastic. And we could build a park at this point. We are producing this, but I don't think we're delivering it to the station at this moment. So I'm not going to do that for the moment. We definitely could. Ha! Making that prototype was easier than stealing a worm from a warbler. I could build a custom excavation tool. All I need is some sturdy ceramics, electronic components, and energy. Let's get flapping. Ruth, you know I'd never stop you from cooking up crazy inventions, but safety gear wouldn't hurt. How about a mask? Never figured you for the health and safety type, but thanks for looking out for me, Rust. Okay, so we have this quest from Ruth, and we're going to need to craft ceramic. We're going to need to craft circuit boards and electricity into our excavation hub, and that'll give us our strangelet. Okay. So we can certainly grab this for now. That's fine. Piping in 5 electricity is easy enough. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and we need a little bit more credits here. That's fine. Let's just, while we're waiting for that to trickle in, we'll connect these up in series. There we go. And then 5. So there's the power we need. That's absolutely fine. Now, ceramics. So ceramics are aluminum and carbon, which we are producing already. Well, we're producing the carbon already anyway. So I want to check this production chain here. So this is outputting carbon, and we're going to want to... Ceramic is done in the crucible. Okay. So I think what we need to do here is we need to probably produce carbon elsewhere. Methane plus oxygen is understood. So we've got our methane production over here, right? If we were to bring in some oxygen or some water here, that would be absolutely fine. We could put a landing pad over this direction, and that is theoretically viable. So we can put a landing pad in here. We've got access to the methane right here. All we would need to do is pipe in some water. And we've got water coming to the station right now. So we can do something like that. And we've got water coming in to this landing pad at this moment. Then we can bring in an ice extractor and put that into a chemical lab, which we will need some additional credits for. While we're waiting on that, we can certainly get this going as well. Okay, so those will get finished up soon enough. And of course, we're going to need to get some acid here to research the component lab eventually. But for now, I want to get a carbon production chain going out over here. And then we're just going to need aluminum coming in here as well. Okay. So that's noted. The real question is, what if we shared the water and aluminum through this landing pad here? Would it automatically choose what pipe to go down in a smart manner? I don't know. That'd be interesting, for sure. So we've got this here, and we do have this water incoming. So these, of course, the water needs to go into a refiner here. So we're just going to plop a refiner right there, like that. The water will now be refined into oxygen, and then both of these need to go into a chemical lab, like that. That gets us carbon on this rock. So at this point, if we were to want to construct ceramic over here, we'd need to get some aluminum coming in, right? So if the aluminum came in and this went into a crucible down over here, well, we'll need some credits for that. Let's get a second batch of these credits going right now. There we go. Yeah, I don't care about any of this. That's fine. So if we got a second batch of credits coming in here, we would build a crucible down here, and then we'd pipe this over to the crucible, like that. That would get the carbon input, and then we might be able to have aluminum come in here and come in like this. The question is, would that clog up this pipe going to the refiner? I don't know. And that would be an interesting question for sure. Because if that does clog up that pipe, that means that we can't do this here. Which would be a bit problematic. But let's put in our crucible here. We'll connect this in here. And then I'm going to bring in our aluminum here, which I don't think we are sending to the station right now. Okay, so we'll bring this in like that. Our water is now going to the station. Okay, so we can only bring in one resource here. Understood. We can do this, and that will output some multiple things. That's awkward. That's very awkward. We, of course, need 3 power here as well. So let's go ahead and get that going. We discovered goop as a resource. Fantastic. Actually, this one isn't going to happen. Let's get... yeah, water is fine. So this is certainly a little bit awkward here, that we've got these multiple resources here at this moment. No doubt about that. That's very, very awkward. I wonder if we could... I really wish that pipe splitters were able to split by resource. That'd be very convenient. But alas, I don't think that's going to be a thing. So we're probably going to need to get rid of this, actually, is what I'm currently thinking. We'll see if we end up doing that, but yeah, that's definitely what I'm thinking right now. Okay, so what we need to do, of course, is we need to get some power set up for this. So this is 3, so we'll do 1, 2, and 3 power over here. There we go, something about like that. So this is now producing goop. The real problem, though, with this crucible is we've got this in the pipe. And we only want to have the aluminum in the pipe right now. So that's a bit of a problem, right? How do we deal with that? I don't know, but we need an output for this. So this is supposed to be outputted to the... okay, gotcha. So what I'm going to do for right now is I'm going to get rid of these 2 excavators. We're going to put this in here, like this. So that's 1 ceramic that we put through. That's a 2nd ceramic. As of right now, this should be only producing ceramic in theory. It does have some goop that it produces as well. But this should be the final bit of silicon in there, I think. Maybe not. Okay, well, let's hop on back out of here. And we need to have this that is currently exporting to the station instead come over to here, like this. So now we're going to be sending in our ceramic being delivered here. And we need to start making circuit boards. So silicon and acid. So we know we need acid for other things. Sulfur plus water. Okay, we can produce that right here in the chemical lab. Okay, so we can take our water that is currently going here. I believe this is going to the station as of right now. And we can mix it together with the sulfur that is over here. So we can put an extractor in here, and we're going to need a few additional resources, of course. We're not actually delivering any of those. We can actually re-roll these, though, by accepting this and then canceling, I noticed. Yeah, that's re-rollable. Yeah. That feels a little cheesy, but we can do it. Okay, So we've got this guy here, and we of course need to put in a chemical lab. Now this is not actually currently going to the station, so we'll get rid of that for the moment. And none of this is going to the station either, so we can re-roll that. We can re-roll it again. This is not a great way of doing this, for sure. The right way to do this, of course, is to just supply the stuff to the station, right? But as of right now, this is fine. So we're going to get a chemical lab over here. I'm going to redirect this guy over to here, and then I'm going to redirect this guy over to here. And that chemical lab is now producing acid. So that acid can come to the station because we know that we need this for research. So that'll be fine. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to continue to work on getting this better. It's not great right now, that's for sure. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge, STL, Spock, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.